James Hearn for the untouchable true school sports. Let's go, baby. Bow!
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so it's been reported and it's been confirmed by Eddie Hearn that Jaron Ennis is, in fact, in negotiations with Eimantas Stanionis, the WBA champion, for a potential IBF and WBA welterweight unification fight. So let's talk about it because anytime I do these Boots videos, and by the way, I gotta always say this because people think anytime you're not speaking favorably about their favorite fighter, they think you're hating, which is not true. I like Jaron Ennis, and half the time, if I ever criticize Jaron Ennis, it's because I want to see him do well. I'm criticizing his career and the moves making his career or not making in his career because I really want to see him do well. Probably more than the majority of the fighters in the USA because I really like him. I really like his style, his skills, and all that good stuff, right? So let's talk about it. So and I hope by the time this comes out, I'm hoping by the time this video drops, which I don't know when I'm going to drop this video, but I'm hoping by the time it drops that Boots and Stanionis is already a done deal. And I can come back and make a follow-up video, right? But Jaron Ennis versus Stanionis will be a great fight. It's a hell of a unification fight. It's the kind of fight where if it gets made, now I can shut up about him fighting T.O. I can shut up about him fighting Brian Norman Jr. I can even shut up about him fighting Conor Benn, and I can shut up for the time being about him fighting Jin Sasaki. It's a really good fight. Stanionis is a fighter that we all know can fight. We know that he was supposed to fight Virgil. That didn't happen. Stocky fighter, strong fighter, has an educated jab, can box, can press, very well conditioned. He's the kind of fighter that if Boots is having a hard time making weight, the way he fights, the manner in which he fights him with his punch output, with his conditioning, with his physical strength, that's a guy that Boots doesn't hurt him in the first 6 rounds, and he is having a hard weight cut. That's the kind of guy that could exploit that weakness against him. So in that regard, it's a very interesting fight. It would also present the first it'd be a really intriguing scenario, right? Because it would be Boots' first legitimate world title fight because he didn't get a chance to actually win his IBF belt outright in the ring. He was elevated to champion. He was given the belt. The IBF said, here you go, Boots, and they gave it to him, right? Because he couldn't get the fights or whatever. He was mandatory, and he went through a lot of bullshit, so they just gave it to him, right? So it's going to be a unique scenario where his first actual world title fight is a unification fight, which I can't think of a time where that's happened in boxing. Maybe you guys that are smarter than me can tell me, has there been a time in the last 5 years or at all where in this era where fighters are being elevated to become full world champions, has there been a time where a fighter's first real world title fight is unification fight? I don't think that's the case, right? So we'll see. I think it's a good fight for the division. I think it's a great fight for boxing. From the Stanionis side of things, because it's not just all about Boots. From the Stanionis side of things, it would be a much welcomed opportunity for him to get this signature fight that's been eluding him for so many years because he's from Lithuania, right? So he doesn't have the built-in fan base like a Mexican fighter does or a British fighter or even some of the Americans. He comes from a country where the investment for boxing is not like exceptionally high. So he has to always play the waiting game of being the high-risk, low-reward guy, being the mandatory, and then hoping that the promoters and the landscape favors him to get a title shot. This is a guy that has a decent resume. He's beating some decent names. He beat Collazo, or he beat Gabriel Maestre, who was an Olympian. He beat Butiev, who was a good fighter. Beat him on Thomas Delorme, who was a faded veteran at the time. Justin Deloach. He's beating some fringe and mid-level guys in the welterweight division, but he hasn't really been able to get in the ring against top contenders or champions. And this for him is a chance now to really show the world how good he is because everyone who follows boxing, who follows the welterweight division knows Stanionis can fight. They know he's a legitimate contender. He's a tough night's work for anybody in the division, and this could be his coming out party if they get this fight over the line. Because I think in a sense, his people, whoever runs his career, they need to get this over the line for him. PBC needs to get this, because I believe he's a PBC fighter. They need to get this over the line for Stanionis, because the way I see it is this: Boots has had some unfortunate things happen in his career, management wise. Some have been not out of his control. Some have been in his control. But either way, he hasn't been able to secure those big fights yet. Stanionis has had a very, very similar career arc, so to speak. So the way I see it is they need each other. Everyone who follows welterweight division knows that Stanionis can fight his ass off. Everyone knows Boots can fight his ass off. They just need these fights to prove that they are really, really like that, and that they really, really are two of the top dogs in the division. So I think they need each other. I think if this fight were to happen next, it would be a case of perfect timing. And the good thing for Boots is, like, because we heard the excuses after both Karen rematches that Karen just moves too much, and he moves too much, and he proved to be too crafty for Jaron Ennis to have the normal Jaron Ennis performances. He still won the fights. They weren't, like, the outcomes weren't in doubt, but to anybody out there that's saying that Boots won like 24 rounds, that's bullshit. He lost like 5 rounds combined, both fights, 4 or 5 rounds, both fights. And, people can't even bring themselves to be honest about that. And even if you think he won more than rounds that I'm saying, the reality is there was enough weaknesses in that fight. There were enough chinks in the armor that were displayed for people like myself to say, hey, Boots needs to correct this and correct that, because if he fights anybody who can hit harder than Karen, that's got more dimensions than Karen, he's going to be in some trouble. Now, luckily for him, Stanionis won't be moving around like Karen. Stanionis has a jab, he can box, but he's not a mover, He's got a power jab. He likes to close the gap. He likes to impose himself on opponents and wear them down. That's his style. So Boots isn't going to have to go looking for Stanionis. I don't think Stanionis will have to go look for Boots. Boots loves to be in the pocket. He likes to parry and manipulate the opponent's guards and strategically place punches to knock these guys out and beat the shit out of them. That's the Boots style. So I think it'll be an explosive fight ultimately, and I just hope that Eddie Hearn can deliver on something for Boots, because, like, look, Eddie Hearn doesn't want to make the Conor Ben fight because he wants Ben to go fight Barrios, so Ben can win the title. Boots can maybe beat Stanionis, right? Or at least he has the IBF belt. They can either do a 2-belt unification or a 3-belt unification. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to take control of the welterweight division, right? So he's not going to give him Conor Ben. Boots instructed Eddie Hearn to not fight Tio, which I didn't like because I thought that fight made a lot of sense for Boots, but it's his career, right? So that's not happening. Brian Norman wanted a fortune to fight Boots, and they're going another route right now. So that being said, this makes all the sense in the world, and Eddie Hearn has to 1,000% deliver on this fight, because if he doesn't deliver, or at least on this Stanionis fight for Boots, we're now really, really in the middle of Demetrius Andrade 2.0 of a career, and you don't want that, as far as mismanagement and things like that. So leave your comments down below. What do you guys make of Stanionis versus Boots? Leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. Like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this, make sure you click right over here.